Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now, my goal is at the end of this video is to show you guys another way that you can start earning online, another type of job for you guys to dive into. Now, if this is your guys' first time on my channel, my name is the Online Lacaba. I am the virtual ate, and I post videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home. So make sure that you hit the subscribe button right there so you guys get all of my videos. Now, every Thursday, I bring on an expert on one job position or another, and today, I'm bringing in an expert as a content brand marketer. Now, our guest for today is a Jill of all trades pertaining to digital marketing, a passionate mentor and trainer by day or night, and dotting mother 24/7. Before sharing her unrelenting passion for anything creative, she spent a few good years as a call center manager. She left the corporate world when she gave birth to her beautiful daughter. She got acclimated to the freelancing industry quite fast because of her innate desire to keep on learning and continuously driven by results. She's also an award-winning blogger, a published poetry writer, and a Masterchef in her kitchen, a trained competency-based interviewer, a YouTube content creator just like me, a mompreneur, a Canva Certified Creative, which is awesome, an Easil All-Stars member, and a globetrotter, among other things. In addition to being all of things above, she is a crafter and turns everything she touches into products of her creative side. Her mission in life is to create a community of people who enjoys influencing other people to be better versions of themselves. Okay guys, so without further ado, let me welcome my guest all the way from Denmark, guys. So digital nomad at its best, Miss Kessa Nielsen. Hi, Katie.
Hi, Leanne. How are you guys doing? It's early morning here. It's a little bit rainy, but I'm pumped and I'm excited to answer the question.
Awesome. We're really happy to have you here. So first thing, this is the first thing I always start with, is how did you get started working online? How did you get started in just this space?
All right. Actually, out of curiosity, I started working online 2009. But that time, I was in the corporate industry. So I didn't have much time because I was working nights and then I was studying my MBA. And then I'm all over the place that time. I had teams to handle. I had my own personal stuff going on. And then I decided to try my first online job. It was Odesk that time. My first online job was to create Twitter accounts.
Oh.
It didn't last long actually because still was my priority that time was my corporate job. And then I continued doing that in 2015 when I quit corporate job altogether because I gave birth to my daughter and I have nothing else to do at home. And I said to myself, I need to do something or else I'm going to get stagnant for life. So I tried to open my account again and then I joined groups and communities and the rest they say is history.
That's awesome. I like that, a lot of people have started with Odesk. I think I have an Odesk account somewhere that I then just upgraded to Upwork also. So it's always the curiosity. It's always the, oh, I wonder what I would do if I did this. So, we have different terms. What does a content marketer do? Was this someone who creates, content to match someone's brand, or as a digital marketer? We have so many terms, but as for you, in your own words, how would you describe what you do?
What I exactly do is I help brands create their branding. It's almost sounded like a redundancy, but yeah. I help brands get noticed, and I also act as a social media manager and a social media marketer, and also a digital marketing professional. So in itself, it's like everything all rolled into one, but it's focused on branding a brand. So creating an identity so that others would be able to recognize that certain brand.
And it's definitely something that is just quote unquote a new thing that has like popped up in the last 2 decades, which is basically the part where people can brand themselves. It used to be that it was just the the milk products, the cereals that you can brand.
Right?
Yeah, yeah. And
I think it's because of the onset as well of social media, primarily of Instagram and Facebook. So now people want to separate themselves from the rest. So they want to be known, say, if they like the color blue, they want to be known as the company with the color blue logo, something like that.
Yeah,
so.
It's definitely something that for people who start working from home, I encourage them to take control of your brand, because already what you're posting on social media is part of your brand. If you post a lot of dog photos, you're known as that dog lady. So it's So you have to keep that in mind. So with that, with now you're doing more branding, like helping people get found. What was the skill that you started with? You said that you started actually with creating Twitter accounts, but then, had a break and then went back full into it. What was the skill that you started with once you started going full-time working from home?
I'm really innately curious. So I want to explore things and all that. And also I have that creative bone in me. So I want things pretty. I want to label things and all that stuff. So the creative side actually goes out if I'm doing something. So when I started, again, out of curiosity, I explored Photoshop and other design tools. And then, while I was studying and taking master classes and all that, I also explored the simple ones, like the ones we access online, like Canva, Corello, and all that stuff. So if you ask me now, I can enumerate all that stuff, but I'm sure your audience knows. Also, the apps on the mobile phones, we have seen a surge on that because the demand is there. So if you want to explore things and you are curious about stuff, you just keep on practicing, and then you will be able to come up with quality content as well.
That's awesome. And it's, like I said, there's been a surge in the last couple of years of just apps where you don't have to really learn Photoshop. It's easy. Anyone can really learn Canva. And I've been using Canva for years. I've recently just paid for my own, like not a company paid one, because I've been using it so much for my own coaching brand. So with that, how did you, starting out with more graphics, with more Photoshop, how did you get your first client out of that, of when you were starting out? How do you get that first person?
The very first client I remembered, I'm actually a member of a teacup collecting community.
Ooh.
So I collect teacups and all that. And then just all of a sudden, I thought of something that we can use, like a name ref. So I started with that. I created name refs and put my name in there and posted on my social media. And then someone asked me about it. So I told them, yeah, I created myself, blah, blah, blah. And then I had the idea to offer it for free. So I said, okay, the first 20 people who would comment in my post, so their social media marketing already, would get their very own name ref for free. And you have to use this hashtag. So they commented, and then their friends saw it. So they asked me, would you like to create another one for me? But I'm going to pay. So I'm not actually the one who asked them to pay, but they volunteered because they liked the first one I created for them. So that's also the advice I give to my students. If the pond is dry, try to figure out something, and Easil is to generate water for you. Because 20, and now they are my loyal customers. So they go back to me, ask me to make other stuff, not just name ref. So it actually started from there. From name ref, it became invitations, posters, tarps, and all that.
That's amazing, because that's one of the things that I also advise, like, especially for those who are teenagers who have no experience at all working. I always say, like, don't say no to free work. Start by building your portfolio. That's essentially what you get. You
and
build.
You get to practice as well. And that time, it's funny, if I remembered that time, I still don't know how to remove the white background.
And now it's so easy. It's just one click in Canva even.
Right, correct. So I learned along the way. And I learned how to mix and match colors and that stuff. So even if it was free, it wasn't technically free at that point because I was learning. So I am earning the learning, not the money, but the learning, which is more valuable, by the way.
True. And it's the other side of working for free is you actually get to see what it would look like if you actually were working for someone, because you can see how they demand, you can see how, what they actually need, because in our heads we have like, okay, this, like for me, when I started out as a writer online, I just thought like, oh, they're just going to say it's 500 words, blah, blah, blah. This is the topic. No, some of them can be very specific, or they just wanted me to literally rewrite an article they already wrote so they can put it in other blogs. So
sometimes we overthink. They want a very simple one, and then we complicate things. So it's good to communicate with different kinds of people.
Oh yeah. So far in the last couple of years, what has been the most surprising thing about working online?
It's easier than people think it is, actually. Like what I mentioned, we overthink things. So I guess the thing that we need to do right now is just to put our one foot forward, that is, and then let the other follow and sink yourself in the industry, because it's easier said than done.
True. It's a lot of people, yeah, like you just literally what you just said. It's, and we overthink. We think that we have to have this and this and this before we can even apply for a job. Like for both of us, we both got our first client just because we've been putting our content out there, because we were already just like, right, like for me, I was writing, I was putting out a blog. For you, you were just putting out like, hey, anyone want to have this created, and more people got interested. So it's almost as easy as that a lot of times. So as a digital marketer, what has been your favorite thing about it? What is something that makes you feel click or makes you feel happy when you start doing it, or when you are given a certain project by a client?
I like that I'm not governed by anything that is permanent. So it changes. I like the change. I like the dynamics of being a creative virtual assistant. And also, I can inject my creative side all the time. So if the client has no clue, I can educate the client. So if the client has no idea about anything that's happening with the brand and all that, I can talk to them about it. So it's good that you like what you're doing, because it's easier for you. And if you happen to convince the client to get your services and all that, you're very fulfilled. And that's one thing about being creative, because once you're done with the project you're working, it's instant gratification. Even if the client has not approved it yet, but you're done with it.
True. It's unlike other jobs where it really takes like months. It takes like, but then for like photo editing, video editing, you see it right away. Like for me, when I started out with this YouTube channel, I actually was still doing my own video editing. It would take me like 6 hours a week, because to edit like 2 videos, even though it was short. So with that, with you loving content, it really does help when you already love what you're doing. So what has been, with creating content or with helping people build their brand, what has been one shortcut that you've done or that you've found that just makes things easier?
Aside from keyboard shortcuts, actually, for us creatives, it's really, really, really important to have our portfolio. I think that's the best shortcut there is, because I close projects even without interviews. Just by sending a link to my portfolio, I get hired already. So, I mean, it's one thing. If you see a portfolio, you think, she spent too much time working on this, blah, blah, blah. But again, you only do that once, or when you update stuff. But once you have that in place, you can just write a simple cover letter, put that link in there, add that link, and then you can get hired already without even talking to the client per se.
I love that. And because I've literally, I actually teach how to create your own portfolio. And it's one of the things where people are like, do I really need this? Is this really something I need to do? And I say yes, because it's the easiest way for like me looking at it, like as an employer. If you show me that like a whole portfolio of what I'm looking for, then it's easier for me to decide if you're going to be someone I'm going to hire or not. So with creating your portfolio, a lot of people overthink that, I haven't been hired yet. How can I create a portfolio? Because I want to dive into this a little bit with you. What would your advice be for someone who, doesn't feel like they can add anything to portfolio because again, they haven't been hired to do anything yet? What would be your advice for that?
Okay, so when I started, I actually pretend like I'm a kind of a brand already. So I make things for myself. And then I would imagine brands that I like, and then I will make social media creatives for that imaginary brand. So there's nothing wrong doing that. Actually, it helps you, because you get to look at a different perspective. Like say you like pink personally, but you want to create a purple branding for another brand. So you create creatives with those colors as well, and with different fonts. So it's like that. You can change whatever you like, and depending on the imaginary brand that you are working on. And then also I contact my friends for me to make something, or it's for me to support your business owner friends as well. So if they want you to make a very simple, like say a welcome creative for their social media accounts, then do it. It's something that you can do to help them.
True. And I love that. It's, it goes back to being open to working for free. It goes back to that. And it also goes back to you. When you're creating a brand, you can create your own brand. You can have yourself as your first client, even. Funny enough, yeah.
And you're the most difficult client to please as well.
True, especially if you're a perfectionist, yeah. So with that, what is, because I know one of the things that you do inside of FH Moms, which is amazing, is helping other moms who want to start as a VA or just want to start working online. You help them be trained in this, exactly this. What has been the most common advice that you've been able to give them?
The best advice that I've given every one of my students is to actually never stop learning and keep on practicing. If they can allot a little bit of time every day, then do it. Because the moment that you already lose the interest, and it's going to be at your downfall already. So it's always best to practice and practice and practice every day.
And of course, everything that you practice, you can put in your portfolio.
Correct, that's right. And also, never claim that you are an expert already. Always be a work in progress.
I love that. That's awesome. You already created your own quote right there.
Quotable quotes.
Yeah.
My students actually like that because every time I produce a video, they can get some lines that they keep on repeating.
Well, you know, that's the part of having a lot of experience in the last couple of years in this industry is you do get to get the shortcuts of that other people can now skip. You're teaching them so they can skip it. So speaking of that, what would be a small step right now that someone will be able to do to get started to becoming, you know, a brand marketer or a digital marketer? Would be a small step that they could do? Let's say you're starting out with a batch of a few of your students. What is a small step that they get started with?
The problem that I encounter with some of my students is that they're scared. So I think I borrow from Nike, just go do it. Just do it. One of my hashtags as well in my personal branding is go do it. So don't actually entertain the fear, because if you entertain that, you'll never get started. So it's better to commit mistakes right now that you are starting and then learn along the way. And I'm here to guide, so don't fear anything. I went past through all the things like you mentioned earlier. I've done the dirty work already. So right now, I'm here to guide you, lead you to the way.
It's basically take that leap. And if you're scared, you can ask. Awesome.
Go enter the door.
Yeah, open that door and get in. So right now, what is your big, hairy, audacious goals? I call it big, hairy, audacious goal because basically what is a goal that sounds ridiculous to you, not to you, to other people, but to you, it makes total sense. Like for me, like I have it right here, which is basically opening up an agency in New York. So that's my big, hairy, audacious goal. What is it for you?
For me personally, it's coming out with my own graphic design elements already. So I'm working on my own fonts. So I have a joke with my students that they are really hoarders of fonts. So why not add another one from me?
True.
And for my students, my goal would be to impart to them that giving is better than always getting. So with that mindset alone can propel them so far ahead of the game.
True. It's become a very competitive thing when it comes to working from home, but I've always seen it as like, it's kind of still like a usual job that you get, but then you can support others who you can't even see. You know, they're just virtual. So I love that you want to impart that mindset. So for that, with that goal you have, how can people who are watching this, or however you guys got here, whether you were researching about the specific job position or not, or you're a student, how can others support you and what you do to get you toward your big, hairy, audacious goal?
I think they can just join the communities I'm handling, because it really inspires me that people actually watch my webinars or watch my YouTube videos for that matter. I get excited when people comment and say, oh, you helped me with this, even if it's so much of like a simple thing to me, but it means a lot to them, like changing the colors that they like or matching the font that they want to use in their resumes and that stuff. So really just participating in discussions. When I ask for questions, you ask questions, creating the challenges that I'm putting out there so that you can practice on your end as well. So that's the support I want. None of those financial stuff and all. The challenge that I put there, you try, because I get happier if I see people try what I want them to do.
True.
I think I reached that phase already when it's more important for me that people are learning than getting something out of that experience.
I love that. That's awesome. So how can people find you? How can people find your communities? Also, by the way, guys, I will link all of these below. But yeah, how can people find you?
For Canva, I have Canva Creatives Philippines. I also have Easil Enthusiasts PH. These are Facebook groups, by the way. So it's Offio Community PH, Design Bold Community PH. So for stuff here are design tools. And then there's also Mama Vloggers community. So if they want to start vlogging and all that, I put up the community as well because I do that with our travels. I also vlog. So I wanted to share, I wanted to show them that I started really putting out bad content as well, but I improved the years because I just started. So that's the most important thing, just start. And then for plant lovers, I also am the admin for Plant Titas and Titos.
Ooh.
Ask some of my students to join me as admins already because I wanted them to practice how to manage community building.
That's awesome. And of course, how about like how if someone stumbled upon this video because they wanted to actually work with you, they wanted to actually hire you, how can they reach you?
You can find me on all social media platforms. Just look for Katie Paper Design. So I'm on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and all that stuff. I'm all over the my carbon footprint is all over the place.
Well, as a social media manager, it's kind of part of the craft. So again, guys, I'll put all of her links below so you can check her out. Thank you so much, Katie. This was a very insightful interview. Thank you for staying throughout the internet intermittent. And thank you for giving a lot of people insights on how they can start it themselves if they're curious about content creation or brand marketer or being a social media marketer. Thank you so much for sharing a lot of your knowledge.
You're welcome, Leanne, and I'm glad to be able to talk with you. And anyone of your audience, if you have questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I respond, I promise. Even if you are not my student yet. They call me Mama Chatbot. So I respond real quick there.
Awesome.
And I'm glad to be able to share my journey. And I would be happy to hear your stories as well.
And I hope you guys were inspired by that awesome interview with KT and inspired you in some way into becoming a content brand marketer. Now, if you guys have any takeaways from this video, make sure to comment them below. Hit that like button so more people see this video. And also, if you haven't yet, make sure that you hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss my videos every Sunday and Thursday. And you can check out these other two videos right here so you can get started on your online journey. Now, I hope you guys are having an awesome day. And remember that small steps matters. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!